Hey everyone, today for some Tweedle advice.
Just a little editing Tweedle note here. I had loads of problems filming this, so if it comes across choppy and awkward, I am so sorry.
I thought I would speak to you about mindset. For me, my mindset has been massively important when it comes to being an artist. And just not even being an artist, but even more so a musician and a singer. This started to happen in my change basically back in the midway of 2025. I started to understand my mental health and where I was truly feeling. I realised I was holding myself to such a standard that, say, if I went on stage or a platform or wherever and I sang or did anything and then there was a mistake, I would massively beat myself up about it, and it would not make me want to get back on that stage. And I would sit there for hours beating myself up, being like, why did I make this mistake when I know I can do something else? And after speaking to quite a few people, to literally so many people, I realised that I'm not the only one who feels this sense of perfectionism. And I'm going to tell you how I fixed this perfectionism, brain that I had when it comes to me being on stage. So let's get started. Okay, so for some context, I grew up quite insecure. I believe this will be because of my ADHD. I never truly understood human behaviour and interactions, especially when I would come home from school and I would stay home, I wouldn't leave. So genuinely, I am very used to only going out for schoolwork and for church. And when I was in my teenage years, I ended up spending more time with older people, but by that time my mindset was, I was so insecure, I couldn't do anything more than a superficial relationship or friendship or whatever. And I would misread behaviours all the time. I think that everyone hated me. And I know I remembered feeling the expectation to be this perfect child, especially with, I've got Indian culture within me, and I know there are certain expectations that may be placed onto a child, but that wasn't kind of how it worked for me, but I still definitely felt an expectation. So it really put me in a place where I need to prove myself. I want to go out there and do well. I want to be really good, and if I did bad, it was the end of the world. I don't know how to describe, really just the end of the world if I did something wrong in my brain. And I think quite young, I stopped focusing on myself and I became a massive people pleaser. So not only did I go on stage, I was doing something that I enjoyed, but I would go out and do literally, not only just be on stage and do music, I would just go out the house and normal everyday conversations. They started becoming tailored towards the person I was talking to, and then it would be just so they could like me, which is really, really sad. And like I said, that definitely showed through in my music and me on stage. Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, I massively struggled with this self-confidence. It has truly been something that I am still working on myself to this day, but my self-confidence was through the floor. It was non-existent at all. I couldn't even say I could sing and hold a note. I couldn't even say that. And by consistently saying things like this, I just didn't think I could do anything well. So, like I said, self-confidence through the floor. I was consistently reading people's faces for their behaviour, or trying to figure out what the slight nuances were within their vocal tone, trying to understand what they were trying to say. And because I never truly understood, a lot of the times it felt like I'd let them down, and that's a big feeling that I hate feeling. And one thing that you'll find with neurodivergence is there's this overwhelming sense of shame that comes. And so a lot of the times you'll find that they'll do whatever they can to not feel the shame, because it's so much and it causes a lot of issues. And so I wanted to get rid of the shame. And this is a shame as well. I would actually feel, if I ever made a mistake, that's what I felt within myself. And this is a pattern that actually cycled for years. And within 2025, I know in the beginning I said mid-2025 is when it truly started, but within 2025, I thought, you know what? I keep telling everyone, some great advice, what we should be doing as people. We should never tell ourselves that we're upset. We should never tell us, not that we're upset, but that we're ugly, or that we're a letdown, or that we're a failure. But I've been saying these things to myself for years, and I'm telling great advice, but I can't even take my own advice. Now, how I truly feel about myself now, that's a completely different story. But I knew that I wanted to change things and intentionally change things. So I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be perfect, and that's okay. So instead, I saw every opportunity where I could step out and do something, whether it be a presentation, a homework piece, teaching the youth at church singing, or even just me going on stage to sing, or onto the platform to do worship. That truly is where I started to see it. Instead of a task that I had to portray and do perfectly. It was instead a learning opportunity for me. And I had goals. I wanted to go, do worship leading, which I am absolutely trying to work on, but I was playing a character, and I don't want to play a character anymore. So, how did I change my mindset? So, this took a while to do, but basically, I didn't want to disappoint people, but also I realised I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to be the best, and I was finally able to put it to words in January, but basically we as human beings, I realised that we as human beings, like, we are meant to grow. As soon as we stop growing, that's where we feel stuck, and that is where a lot of mental health problems tend to arise, and we try to cope, and it doesn't really work. For me, I was definitely putting it all down on myself, which then caused some very unhealthy behaviours, but life is life, we're all learning. And instead of, how dare I make a mistake when I know I can do better, it was, okay, I made a mistake, I can absolutely do better, but instead it was, what did I do wrong? What did I do well? If I made 0 mistakes, amazing. What did I do well to continue on to next time? If I did something, for example, let's say the line that goes, build higher walls around me, in home, which you will soon hear from my high first set. I remember doing this for a grade, and my teachers were pushing me to sing this in my chest voice, not my head voice like I just sang. Now, I can do it in my chest voice, but it's more of a push, and I think it doesn't sound as good for the ear to hear, so I was going, build higher walls around me. That on higher was just difficult, and you can hear the push and the strain. So, yeah, I chose sing in the head, and I think it sounds a lot better, and I can project it a lot better, and it's more full and open, which is great. And thankfully in September, when I started learning to lead a little bit, and I was a lot more focused in everything I was doing because of my diagnosis and my new medication, the mindset was locked and loaded and ready to go. I'd finally sorted it out. And it's come to a point where when I'm on stage for worship or doing anything for uni work now, I could be disappointed that I didn't get a certain grade. However, by applying this mindset of growth, I have now come to a place where the shame isn't as bad anymore. It's a lot easier to handle, but I now need to change that and by adding other aspects of my life into that. So, what is there to learn? We have to change our mindset. And unfortunately, what has been shown and proven a lot of the time is we cannot help you if you don't help yourself. You need to put that change into place and actually go and do it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And even if other people may try to help, it will not give the results that is needed. So, let's do that change. And if you like this video, do let me know, and I'll make sure I do some more. There will be more anyway. And I will be uploading the full high fest set soon, so I'll see you then. See you later, guys.